Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Andrew Kearns. I'm the principal here at Northern Burlington Middle School. On behalf of our Board of Education, our superintendent, Dr. James Saruta, I want to thank you to our Greyhound Gala program. I want to begin by first recognizing these ladies off to my left who did an outstanding job performing as you were coming in. So a round of applause for them. Thank you so much for sharing your talents with us, and we're going to hear just a little bit more from them. We're going to open our program tonight by asking you to please to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing as our flute choir performs the national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. All right, again, my thanks for coming out here tonight. It is a special evening, full of surprises. Special in that we have an opportunity, these teachers have an opportunity tonight to recognize these different students here they've identified as having a special impact on their class throughout the school year. Full of surprises in that they still don't know who's nominated them, who selected them, and why. And that will be revealed all in good time. So we'll begin our program in just a few moments. Give me just some mechanics. Students, when your name is called, I'd ask you please come up from the side. The teacher will greet you here on the stage, and when you're done, you're going to go off through those side doors out in the back, and there's a place where we're going to take your picture before you come back in here. In almost every case, the teacher that nominated you is here. In a few instances, we have a teacher that was absent, couldn't be here for whatever reason. Obviously, we'll get your picture with them at a later date, but nonetheless, someone else will read their nominating speech on their behalf. All right, so without further ado, you didn't come here to hear me speak. You came here about our fantastic students. I'm going to introduce Mrs. Janet Adams for our first student.
Good evening, everyone. My Gala student is caring, demonstrates friendly attitudes to other students, and always strives to help others. He has friendly relationships with his peers and respects everyone. As a teacher, I can emphasize his strength of will and diligence. He always tries hard, works a lot, and never gives up. Such students are the dream of any teacher. Aristotle stated, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit." I completely agree with this saying and emphasize that this student is habitually excellent. He does not strive for recognition. He focuses on the real and true values and contributions he can make. I am honored to have such a wonderful student in my class. His strength, aspirations, and enthusiasm will benefit him in his future. I am grateful to the family which has raised such an outstanding person. He has shared so many stories of fun times spent with his parents and grandparents. To conclude, I want to mention the words of Albert Einstein, who said, "Try not to become a man of success, but a man of value." The most important goal is to be someone who brings quality to society, who contributes his efforts, skills, and knowledge to improve one's life and the lives of others. I am sure this student will strive for bringing true value, and that's why I chose Sean Hulick. Reach over there. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Nicole Avanzato.
Good evening. As is the case every year, I had a difficult time choosing a Greyhound Gala student because so many of our students on Team Achieve are so fantastic. There's a lot of them here. Could be any one of you. As I was narrowing down my decision, I kept going back to a student who is a calming presence in, let's say, an easily excitable class. I have never heard the student say an unkind word, and I just knocked somebody out. She always enters and leaves the class with a smile. In class, she asks insightful, meaningful questions and provides enlightened feedback during discussions with her peers. In addition, this student has consistently improved her writing throughout the year by taking my feedback and not only correcting and revising the piece we're working on, but applying my suggestions to subsequent pieces as well. This student, this is going to let you know exactly who it is. This student is an original and exceptional photographer who has contributed several extraordinary submissions to this year's Paul Prince Literary Magazine. Kylie Lika, it's been a joy to be your teacher this year. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Jennifer Scott.
Good evening. I've known since September who I was going to choose this evening, and I warned all of the other teachers that they could not steal this student from me. So from day one, this student has been a delight and a joy to teach. Her warm smile and bubbly personality, which meet me at the door or even in the hallways, are contagious. And without her knowing it, she has often been the one to inspire and to encourage me. She enters class each and every day with an all-star attitude and an eagerness to learn. This young lady is a great student, but even more important, a wonderful person. I know she will excel and achieve greatness in whatever she chooses to pursue. And for these reasons, I would like to present Amanda Sarametta with this Greyhound Gala Award. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Miss Melissa Bennett.
I've had the pleasure of having this student for 2 years. He's an amazing kid. And when given the choice between being right or being kind, this student always chooses kind. His warm smile when assisting his classmates, to his eager lending of a helping hand to any of his teachers, or telling of his jokes to make someone smile, this student goes above and beyond, all because of the kindness in his heart. I'm extremely proud and honored to present this Greyhound Gala Award to Axel Guzman. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jane Conover to announce our next nominee.
Good evening, everyone. As a Chinese language teacher who is a Chinese native, I keep telling my students since the first day of school, hard work is the key when learning Chinese. To my great delight, my Greyhound Gala nominee tonight is the kind of student who lives up to his expectation with her positive attitude, admirable work ethic, and superb dedication to practice Chinese in all aspects. She embraces challenges in speaking, reading, listening, and writing, and she definitely has made the best of her first 2 years of Chinese language learning with me here at the middle school. She has a humble heart that loves and cares. Whenever there is a quiz or Kahoot game going on, after grabbing a trophy from me, almost always at the first round, she will kindly wink at me with a smile to seek for permission that I will exempt her from playing the following rounds so that other students will be able to win and shine. Her sweet and nice move not only reveals her personality, but also demonstrates the huge potential she has within her to achieve more in the future. I'd like to express my gratitude to Juliana Crever for making me smile every day during the Chinese class with her wonderful enthusiasm in the language, and for setting herself as a true leader that continuously influences others around her. Congratulations, Lina. You're the best. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Janine Conti to announce the next nominee.
Do you know who is a great student? My Greyhound Gala nominee. She is organized, focuses on learning in class, has the ability to work well with her peers, and consistently has thoughtful responses during discussion. Having her in class is a bright spot in my day. Do you know who is well prepared for high school? My Greyhound Gala nominee. She is mature, level-headed, and confident in her skills and abilities as a student. She inspires those around her to work harder and achieve higher goals. Do you know who my 2019 Greyhound Gala nominee is? Faith Rayner. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Justin Faust to announce our next nominee.
All right, just a disclaimer, as a history teacher, mine is not as wordy and as good as that, but I'm going to do my best to show my Greyhound Gala nominee just how great of a student they are. This student started off the year in my class extremely quiet and would hesitate to participate in class despite knowing the answers. Throughout the year, though, I saw her confidence grow to the point where she has led the class in discussion, and presentations and group work as well. She's extremely bright, has a really great sense of humor, and is just an overall great kid. I can only imagine what the future has in store for her. She does great things in life. This student, quite simply, reminds me why I got into teaching in the first place. My Greyhound Gala nominee is Taylor Johnson. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Karen Forte to announce our next nominee.
Okie dokie. You know, I keep asking them to write in a bigger font. These glasses, I tell you. Okay, it is with great pleasure to present this award to this fine young lady who has continued to grow both academically and socially throughout the year. Each day she enters the classroom with such enthusiasm and a wonderful attitude. Her smile lights up the room. She is hardworking, school-spirited greyhound who will always persevere even when she struggles and will ask for further assistance if she is unclear and needs clarification. She always says good morning to me each day, and during lunch will always ask me how my day is going. Her high energy, readiness to learn, and participation is a delight to witness every day. She is kind, considerate, cheerful, reliable, and simply fantastic. I am proud to select Ryan Norwood as my Greyhound Gala Award recipient. It has truly been a pleasure having you as a student this year. Continue working hard, and best of luck at the high school. And she's mini-me. She does that in class as well. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Rachel Friedman to announce our next nominee.
All right. At the beginning of the school year, I was convinced that my Gala student had a twin. When the student in my class was reserved, reluctant, and unsure, the student I saw after school was assertive, vivacious, and talkative. As the year went by, however, I started to see these two very different personalities merging into one. The student in my class became more sure of herself, asking questions, taking academic risks, and volunteering her opinions. She became a student who I relied on for participation and, surprisingly, for book recommendations. I hope this student continues to let her personality shine and remains unapologetically herself. My Greyhound Gala recipient is Dayton Fraley. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Alexandra Gill to announce our next nominee.
Good evening. If you looked into the mind of a middle school student, you would see that their prefrontal cortex, part of their frontal lobe, is still growing and evolving. This part of the brain can easily be manipulated and influenced by emotions, and is in charge of self-awareness, empathy, judgment, and organization, all strong suits of any 8th grader. This part of the brain usually leads to the questions, who am I and why am I here? My nomination fully appreciates and understands these brain transformations and speaks about them regularly during class. This student is very much self-aware. She knows who she is. She is an original, a creative, confident, and self-motivated individual. She knows her passions and her limits, and definitely knows why she's here. Her positive influence brightens days and melts worries away. You can't help but have a more positive outlook when you're around her. Empathy? She's got that. My recipient does not let emotions cloud her view. I see it every time she advocates for one of her peers or provides a helping hand to someone around her. She is a confidant for anyone who needs an ear, and her strength and compassion are the backbone of her group of friends. As for judgment, hers is one of the most mature around. She continuously exhibits this judgment through kindness during many classroom conversations about school and life. She respectfully listens to others' perspectives and opens her mind to see the world from all viewpoints. Organization, however, that could use some work, but that's any 8th grader. I appreciate my recipient's encouraging nature and look forward to hearing about all her future successes. I am even more grateful that I could add to her ever-growing collection of pins with a Harry Potter pin. Congratulations, Maggie Winsinger. It is now my pleasure to introduce Ms. Kristen Henry to announce our next nominee.
How do we know the Earth is round? Do zombies need to eat calories like we do? Can hurricanes happen during a snowstorm? Can I eat this lab experiment? Scientists are always asking questions, and my gala recipient is a true scientist. This student's natural curiosity and eagerness to learn make the student a joy to teach, and yes, this person has asked me all of the above. Throughout the year, I've been privileged to see this student grow and learn. It's been an honor to play a part as he uncovers new knowledge and tests his own abilities. As we reach the end of middle school, this student has only begun to realize his potential. Great things never come from comfort zones, and this student has become comfortable with being uncomfortable, asking questions and pushing himself. Stephen Hawking once said, "Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet." Wishing you all the best as you continue to look upward and outward, Angel Perez. And then now the moment so many of you have been waiting for. I'm happy to present my friend, Mr. Jason Hoy.
Hope you weren't expecting much. Just going to read this. The Greyhound Gala is such an important event because it always allows teachers to recognize students that for one reason or another played an important role in their classrooms throughout the year. My nominee was not always an active member of my class. At the start of the year, she would work diligently, but preferred to allow other students to participate, and was not inclined to discuss class topics with other students. During a conversation in the fall, she mentioned that she wanted to improve in these areas. It is usually very difficult to make these types of changes to your performance over the course of an entire year, but she seemed to do so almost immediately. She is now a much more active participant in the classroom in addition to her diligent individual work ethic. I am extremely impressed with her efforts, and I am sure that she will continue this trend through her high school years and beyond. It is my privilege to select Arya Ishwar as my Greyhound Gala nominee. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Shannon Hughes to announce our next nominee.
Good evening, everyone. When choosing a student for the Greyhound Gala, a teacher might consider someone who demonstrates great character, gets good grades, is a positive role model, or simply tries their best. These considerations describe many of my students, so I consider myself lucky that I got to dig a little deeper for my Greyhound Gala nominee. I considered students who have excelled in the band program, who have participated in multiple ensembles, and who have constantly contributed to making our bands better. I started thinking about the students who bring out the best qualities in not only their peers, but in me as a teacher. I thought about the students who are positive contributors to any situation, and the students who have been motivated to tackle every challenge. My Greyhound Gala nominee has shown genuine dedication and enthusiasm toward music, and I've gotten to see this person develop a passion and appreciation for performing. This person makes band a memorable experience for our peers and for me. He knows how to motivate the people around him and often gives us a good laugh and sometimes a groan with his jokes. Rather than having students for just a quarter, a semester, or a year, I'm one of the few teachers to have students for the entire time they're in middle school. For this, I consider myself lucky, especially when I get to work with young musicians as wonderful as Travis Jones. And it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Melissa Kaiser to announce our next nominee.
I have been delighted to have this wonderful student in my class this year. He comes to school each day with a smile on his face. He is always bursting with energy and eager to learn. During class, he is always hyper-focused and fully engaged in the lesson. He has learned throughout the year to advocate for himself and to always ask questions. He is the kind of student who knows how to empower his classmates and is well-liked by all. I have not only enjoyed being able to teach the student, but I have also enjoyed sharing our love of sports. Each morning starts with an update on the previous night's games, whether it be our love of our favorite teams of the Phillies and the Sixers, or sharing our thoughts on the football games from the days before. I am delighted to honor my favorite Packers fan, Georgios Molisaratos. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Cassie Kalzik to announce our next nominee.
The great mathematician, artist, and inventor Leonardo da Vinci said, "It had long since come to my attention that people of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things." This is a characteristic which I continually see in my gala nominee. Even though this person prefers to remain quiet and stay out of the spotlight, this person doesn't just sit back and take the easy way. Gave myself away a little bit. She often steps up, even though no one asked, to figure out what needs to be done and gets it done. These actions demonstrate just one of the reasons why my gala nominee has what it takes to be a future leader. She continually uses character strength, patience, and perseverance, combined with intelligence to solve problems, and shows kindness to all. It has been an honor to see this person in action, navigating stressful challenges, both in and outside the classroom. Often unbeknownst to peers, this amazing individual has the ability to strategize and overcome difficult challenges. Her strengths largely contributed to earning the Project Award at a robotics competition this year. Due to her excellence of character, I have chosen Ria Manchanda as my Greyhound Gala nominee. You play it so cool. You do the whole time. Right. Congratulations. This I get the honor of announcing another nominee for my colleague, Dr. Robin McLean, who is at the FFA State Regional Convention, at this time. This is coming from her to a student that I also share a great admiration for. Dr. McLean writes, "Each year, I am fortunate to work with a dedicated group of young people who are gaining career, life, and leadership skills as FFA members. Picking a Greyhound Gala recipient is no easy feat. My recipient demonstrates the concepts of the 2019 New Jersey FFA theme, Embrace, Embark, Empower. She has embraced the opportunities the FFA provides, including career development events and leadership roles, such as serving as a delegate to the New Jersey FFA convention. She has embarked on an FFA journey, and I am sure will continue in high school. She empowers others, not only through her role as a chapter officer, but by encouraging newer members to get actively involved. It has been a pleasure to be both her teacher and a student of mine as well. I can agree with Dr. McLean. It's been a pleasure. She has also been an FFA advisor, and she will continue to share the FFA experience as she heads to the high school. It is my pleasure and Dr. McLean's pleasure to recognize the young lady who demonstrates a willingness to continue to grow as a leader, exhibits enthusiasm in nearly everything she does, and has shown a passion for agriculture and dedication to the FFA over the past 2 years. And this recipient is actually not here because she is at this FFA convention receiving another award by Dr. McLean, who's also at the convention with her. Please give a round of applause for Lexi Enger. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Tyler Kay to announce our next nominee.
Good evening, everybody. As a first-year teacher, I was understandably nervous about teaching for the first time. And with the added pressure of taking over a class mid-year, I had no clue what to expect when I walked into my class on the first day. But from that very first day, my Greyhound Gala nominee made it very clear to me that I had chosen the correct profession. My Greyhound Gala nominee consistently impresses me with his work ethic and commitment to doing well in class. He always has a positive attitude and shows legitimate interest in learning about American history. Even when learning about some less interesting topics, and there are some, this student is always an active learner and willing participant. My Greyhound Gala nominee is truly a bright spot in my day, whether it's talking about the Phillies or my excellent taste in music, and those are his words, not mine. This student is always a true delight to be around. He is a true friend to his peers and treats all of his classmates with courtesy and respect. Now, along with having this student in class, I also had the opportunity to coach him on the lacrosse field. And in lacrosse, his tenacious effort and relentless hustle allowed him to stand out as an impact player all season. In both the classroom and on the lacrosse field, this student always tries his best to do the right thing and gives the absolute best effort that he can. It is my honor to have chosen Liam Sheehan as my Greyhound Gala nominee. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Ryan Lafferty to announce our next nominee.
Good evening, Greyhounds. Sorry, I'm always too much. They'll agree. It's good to see you all. I want to start off with a few words. Fortuna favet fortibus. Fortune favors the bold. It's the Lafferty family motto, borrowed from an ancient poet, Virgil. He reminds us that fortune indeed favors the bold or the strong. My nominee has shown bravery and strength both as a student and as an individual. This student has taken every opportunity to reach beyond the lesson of the day and extend it to explore the meaning behind it all. This student looks at the hidden truths behind the often overlooked symbols in our literature and applies the often complex concepts from our discussions to her everyday life. It is with great pride and honor that I nominate Anika Reddy Chapalapalli as my Greyhound Gala nominee for 2019. And a pleasure it is indeed. Thank you. I'll meet you right out there. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Michelle Lapari.
I think I was cursed with a last name starting with L, and Mr. Lafferty joined us years ago, and so sorry I'm not as entertaining as he is. I will still do my best. I do have two to present. The first will be from myself. This year I've had the pleasure of getting to know my Greyhound Gala nominee both in and out of the classroom setting. In the two situations, her work ethic surpasses that of most teenagers and, dare I say, many adults. I've seen her listen, think, process, analyze, and produce within minutes after being presented with new information. Even with her quiet demeanor, she is a force to be reckoned with who consistently challenges herself. Whether it is having a catch on the softball field, asking, "May I help you?" to a customer in the school store, or simply raising her hand to answer a question in class, I know I can always count on my 2019 Greyhound Gala nominee, Thandaway Sendi. Now I'd like to read to you a letter that Mr. Goldstein, who couldn't be here with us tonight, has written to his gala recipient. To my gala recipient, you're one of those students that just made it an awesome school year. I don't think a day went by that I couldn't count on you for doing something for the school store, FBLA, or even if I needed a favor. Your dedication was amazing. We both know that school is made up of numerous tasks. Not many students carry a task through at 110%, but you do. I always knew that if you were going to do something, you wouldn't just do it right, but you would do an incredible job. It gives me pleasure to see you so into your courses here at Northern. I know they were challenging, but you always seem to enjoy them and love taking on the challenges as well. This is a great skill to have. You never give up. This will make you so unbelievably successful in life. Thank you for everything you have done. I'm going to miss all of your swimming stories you would tell me, or when I yell "May May" down the hallway. Wishing you all the best. Mela Sangretti. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Sarah Long to announce our next nominee.
Good evening. I also have two to present. First will be from me. Confident, cool, inquisitive, kind-hearted, hilarious, swift, daring, explorative, and beautiful. No matter what's going on in the classroom, I can guarantee to catch a glimpse of my gala nominee's sparkling eyes, and I just know we are on the same page. Her beauty is radiant and her smile is fulfilling. Her confidence and desire to do well is admirable, and I wish I had a small portion of her daring, strength, and personality.
She might be quiet in the classroom, but I know she That's what I do all the time. And if you are my student, you know I mess up. Yes? Yes. Those are heads nodding. Let's rewind, please. This one somehow is a little bit better. Here we go. Her beauty is radiant and her smile is fulfilling. Her confidence and desire to do well is admirable, and I wish I had a small portion of her daring, strength, and personality. She might be quiet in the classroom, but I know she radiantly shines and is fierce. This beautiful young lady is more than deserving to be a gala recipient, and I can only imagine the wonderful things you will do in this world. All these words that I have used to describe my gala nominee can be summed up by her proper title, Queen Layla Wise. This one's even longer, so I might butcher this one more. Deal with me. Here we go. This is from Miss Borman. My Greyhound Gala nominee arrives to class every morning with a happy good morning and is ready to start the day. She finds a way to have a positive attitude every day, no matter how bad her allergies are or how poorly she slept the night before. She never complains about having a double block math class that starts at 7:25 in the morning, even though she knows I'm going to make sure that every minute she's working at her top potential, and it's not going to be easy. My nominee is the most enthusiastic peer teacher you will ever meet. She is always ready to help anyone. She is kind to everyone and makes all her peers feel good about themselves. When working with a partner, she always has patience and takes her time to make sure her partner feels as confident with the topic as she does. My nominee has improved more than I could have ever hoped for. She amazes me in every day, and on how much effort she puts into every assignment she does. She is the only student I have ever had who has asked me for extra homework to get ahead. My nominee will always help a friend in need and try her absolute hardest at all times. She tries to make me proud and always succeed. I have been truly blessed for having my nominee in class. Before I finish hers, I must say I absolutely adore this student as well, and there were some arguments over this student. She's absolutely amazing, and I have also had the pleasure of having her. Thank you, Sydney Miller, for making this year special for here at Northern. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Lori Marchetti to announce our next nominee.
Good evening. My Greyhound Gala nominee came to me this year from a faraway country. While she speaks fluent English, she was so shy I rarely heard her voice, except for the occasional "yes ma'am" or "no ma'am." Initially, she seemed very uncertain of her own abilities, and admittedly, I was uncertain as well. As the school year unfolded, however, I saw small signs of growth. Perhaps she would nod at something I would say, or lean toward her neighbor and ask her a question. Little by little, her confidence grew, and she started asking more and more questions. Eventually, to my own excitement and joy, my nominee started raising her hand and answering questions. Now, as we are closing out the school year, my nominee has taken on a different role in the classroom. She is the student who sometimes helps her neighbors. She is the student that I can easily call on for the correct answer. The growth this student has shown this school year, both academically and personally, is far greater than I can even put words to. Her inner strength, determination, and perseverance are immeasurable. Her compassion and kind-heartedness are limitless. She is an amazing young lady, and I will truly miss her smiling face next year. To my Greyhound Gala nominee, Michaela Osborne, may you always trust and know that you can achieve great things because of the remarkable student and person you already are. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Colleen Martin to announce our next nominee.
Good evening. As the chorus teacher, I have the pleasure of teaching most of my students for their entire time at the middle school. And while it's rewarding to watch our students grow and mature for any amount of time, there's a lot that can change over 2 years, especially at this age. My Greyhound Gala student has participated in every single vocal activity possible. During this time, I've watched him work diligently to improve musically. I've seen this person tirelessly support his classmates and fellow performers. And over the past 2 years, I have never heard him complain about a single thing. He always has something funny to say or do, whether it's gracefully losing the trust fall or shooting some sly comment during warm-ups. My gala recipient is always there to give you that extra boost when you're too tired to stand during rehearsal, or he'll sing out nice and strong when you're afraid to be the loudest. With his Brooklyn rendition of a medieval jester, to figuring out that after 2 years, he's actually a tenor, not a bass. My gala nominee has made these last 2 years fun and rewarding, and I thank you for spending just about all of your free time in chorus, Owen Murray. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Heather McGarrigle to announce our next nominee.
A glowing smile in the sea of students is always a welcoming trait of my gala nominee. She is respectful and kind and always willing to lend a helping hand. She raises the bar with natural apprehension but a daring drive towards success. Is well-mannered and is always greeting me with a hello and leaves me with a goodbye or have a great weekend. She even sneaks in a compliment and wishes she was as tall as me. Tonight, I shall tower over her with my tallest heels on. Someday, I'm sure, even if it's not in your genes, your talents, attributes, and influential personality will have you, Aubrey Platt, soaring high. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Lauren Newman to announce our next nominee.
Good evening. My Greyhound Gala nominee may like to stay in the shadows, giving the spotlight to others, but that has not fooled me. I know the truth, that she's capable of amazing feats, even if she's not the center of attention. This is a remarkable skill because it shows great maturity and grace to work hard only to have others receive the public accolades. This young lady exhibits a down-to-earth trait that makes her a pleasure to be around and have conversations with. When I ask her about her day or a break from school, she shares such lovely details that I feel lucky to get a glimpse into her life outside of Northern. This student also always reciprocates by asking me about my day or my break from school, which shows kindness and consideration not always displayed by her peers. See, while this student may have others fooled, I know the true success of a show is measured not in its stars on the stage, but in the behind-the-scenes crew that makes it all happen so effortlessly for the audience. And at the end of the day, while the applause may be for others, I hope this student knows just how important the roles played off the stage are, both in theater and in life. This student may opt to be behind the spotlight, but today she gets to be front and center. And today, the applause is for her. It is my honor to present my Greyhound Gala Award this year to Miss Allison Jozalewski. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Alyssa Reppert to announce our next nominee.
Hey. As a teacher, I've seen a plethora of students pass through my door. With each year, I meet hundreds of young people, and yet, my nominee has found a way to stand out amongst them all. My nominee has unknowingly had a very big influence on my daily life. The student would come to my class excited about the topics, would often tell me how much she enjoyed math, and how much she looked forward to the homework that night. And that very rarely happens. Actually, that never happens, ever. Hearing these words coming from an 8th grader was just amazing to me. This student even made it a point to stay after class each and every day to help me put away supplies left out by other students. Her selflessness did not go unnoticed, and each time I'd feel lucky to have a student like her. She consistently blew me away with her never-ending strive for growth. From schoolwork, to the school store, to piano, to singing, to creating her own language, and much, much more, my nominee never fell short of exceptional. She inspired me to be the best teacher I can be so that students like her can continue to push the boundaries and reach goals that were once unimaginable. I want to thank you, Charlize Downey, for being the type of kid that reminded me why I chose to be a teacher in the first place. You rock. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Michael Stino to announce our next nominee.
All right. Good evening. You know it's a special occasion when they break out the golden Greyhound. All right. My Greyhound Gala student is a teacher's dream. Why? Maybe it's because this person seeks feedback, values said feedback, then puts that feedback to use in order to improve a final product. It sounds simple, but a lot of my feedback doesn't always get treated with the same attention. This person is well-read and loves books, stories, and poems. She uses this interest to cultivate her writing skills. I should disclose my background as an English teacher. I have definite bias towards bookworms. Guilty as charged. This person valued my suggestions for stories, was inspired enough by our in-class slam poetry project to write for a personal passion project. She knows who she is now, but for everyone else, if you're looking for a student who listens and loves reading, learning, and writing, look no further than my Greyhound Gala nominee, the impeccable Angelina Banis. It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Parvani Sulan to announce our next nominee.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. This was a hard year to pick a nominee. We had great students this year, but I think I picked a really good one. I would like to present my Greyhound Gala Award to an incredible young lady who has amazed me every day. This young lady works hard each day and has impressed me throughout the year with her consistent, tireless effort to do a great job because good is just not enough for her. Her genuine love for learning and positive outlook shines through on every assignment she does. She's a leader and a dependable team player who always looks out for her teammates. I can go on and on. How can someone be so kind, dependable, and sweet every day? It all comes from within, from her beautiful nature. I wish her all the best. It is my privilege to present the 2019 Greyhound Gala Award to Miss Bianca Michelle Witschek. Congratulations, Bianca. You will do great things. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Nicole Tripodi to announce the next nominee. Thank you.
Good evening. I also have 2 awards to present. I'll present mine first, and then the other one for Miss Debbie Gibbs. A friendly hello, a dependable smile, and a positive attitude characterize this Greyhound Gala recipient. She sets an example of excellence for her peers in the 7th grade. With gentle grace, this student demonstrates respect to her teachers and peers, takes the feelings of others into consideration, and doesn't take her cue from what other people do. For example, last semester, this gala recipient took initiative in writing a thesis statement that was entirely counter to what her peers wrote. She chose the more difficult option, that Matilda Cook from Fever 1793 was not a dynamic character, and succeeded in crafting an outstanding essay. This student not only pushes herself academically, but also extracurricularly. Holding many varied interests, this student is successful in the classroom, on the track, and on the soccer field. Perhaps the most admirable quality of this Greyhound Gala recipient is something she might not even know about herself because it comes so naturally to her. She's an includer. She's the kind of person who looks for the partnerless classmate and invites them in. She seeks those who might be on the fringe and calls them into her circle. Her keen sensitivity to those around her makes her a better classmate, a better friend, and a better human. Brooke Hall, you should know that I am so proud of you and can't wait to see what you do with your bright future. P.S. We all know you'll be a teacher. This one is on behalf of Miss Debbie Gibbs. The student that she nominated for the Gala Award shows exceptional academic skills in all of her work. When faced with challenges, she is always able to rise to the occasion and find a way to meet her goals. Not only is she an excellent student, she also did a terrific job when she participated in the school play and is a member of the FFA. She is always delightful, kind, and demonstrates positive leadership skills. My Gala recipient is Cassandra Mocker. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Jerry Yost to announce our next nominee.
Good evening. Last but not least, I have a feeling my recipient has an idea who she is. Throughout the school year, my Greyhound Gala selection has exemplified the meaning of the word diligence. This student demonstrates exceptional effort and participation in every class. This student quietly and consistently completes all of her assignments. As one who could easily be overlooked because of her subtle, soft-spoken demeanor, she sets personal academic goals and persists to make sure these goals are achieved. The student always pays close attention to details and remains curious throughout the readings and activities by double-checking her work and asking questions to clarify her understanding. Her pleasant and polite demeanor made her a pleasure to have in class. She volunteered to research a fact of the day to display on the board and ultimately turned this task into her personal mission to enlighten and entertain other students. She was always willing to volunteer for any task, such as helping distribute Chromebooks, write on the board, or lead a small group discussion. Other students should follow the example of Lucy Altwee's My Greyhound Gala selection.
All right, this evening is drawing to a close, and a couple things. As I said, it's a special night. As Mr. Stino noted, we don't bring out the Golden Greyhound just for any old occasion, and we had it out here for tonight in his one-eared glory. A couple thank yous here before we conclude. First of all, I want to thank the School Climate Committee for putting together this evening and also doing all the setup. The balloons don't blow themselves up, the food doesn't put itself out, and that's a result of all their efforts, and I appreciate that. Appreciate the efforts of my secretary, Mrs. Harrison, who has managed to tip out here. All your letters, the programs, all that stuff is put together. I want to thank the teachers for their different nominations. And I want to thank the families for allowing us to work with your amazing children every day here at Northern Burlington Middle School. All right, with that, conclude tonight's evening. Absolutely, we should applaud for them. With that, we'll conclude tonight's evening. Join us in the back to celebrate, please. We have fruit, cookies, punch, and water. Please celebrate with us for a few minutes, and again, have a safe trip home.